Well, the publishers are at it again, and it is actually worse than we thought. So, they aren't just selling you a sanitized game, they're selling you the absolute death of their own cultural identity. So, the trajectory of the Japanese video game industry has reached a critical inflection point. Over the past decade, massive Japanese publishers like Capcom and Square Enix have increasingly relied on global markets to secure their profitability. But to get that money, they instituted internal ethics departments and integrated localization teams directly into the early stages of development. The stated goal is to sanitize content and mitigate global public relations risks. It is not just a bad operational pivot, it's kind of a pretty shit move in general. So, a huge vocal segment of the gaming community is calling this exactly what it is. It's an insidious form of Western cultural imperialism. Let us look at how this whole clown show started, okay? Back in April of 2016, Sony relocated its global headquarters from Tokyo to San Mateo, California. Now, this geographic shift marked the absolute beginning of a Western-centric approach to platform governance. They implemented opaque internal policies requiring Japanese games to be vetted by the American branch, leading to the, essentially outright censorship of multiple niche titles. And then you have Square Enix literally creating an internal ethics department. Like, during the Final Fantasy VII Remake project, director Tetsuya Nomura publicly confirmed that this ethics department instructed the team to restrict Tifa Lockhart's chest proportions. They gave her smaller boobs. So they retroactively covered her up with a sports bra and black undershirts just to avoid looking unnatural. And the absolute disrespect did not stop there. For the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake, Square Enix completely removed the traditional male and female selection options. They replaced them with that whole Type A and Type B bullshit. You know, the PR spin on this was that it was an effort to reach a wider audience and align with modern inclusivity standards. But series creator Yuji Horii went on the radio broadcast and expressed his intense personal confusion and frustration over these puritanical regulations. Like, he asked who was actually complaining about the original gender options, and what did the corporate suit do? Well, the PR machine mobilized rapidly and claimed his remarks were mistranslated and sensationalized. Capcom is no better, actually. Back in November 2020, they suffered a massive ransomware attack that leaked highly confidential internal documents. Among the leaks was a presentation literally titled The Politically Correct Business Strategy. Now, this document instructed developers to actively avoid outdated narrative tropes, specifically pointing at Nintendo's Princess Zelda as an example of a damsel in distress to avoid. Imagine avoiding Princess Zelda, for crying out loud. And this complete hypocrisy peaked in February of 2026 with the launch of Resident Evil Requiem, right? Capcom gave us dual protagonists, but the double standard in character design is an absolute joke. Leon Kennedy was highly sexualized into a hot uncle, if you will. And the developers explicitly stated that female staff members reviewed even the finest wrinkles on his neck to ensure maximum physical attractiveness. But the new female protagonist, Grace, designed with a highly conservative, sanitized aesthetic. And this is before the DLSS 5, yassifier filter. She wears a thick leather jacket and a baggy hoodie, so the female gaze gets totally catered to, but the male gaze is systematically eradicated and labeled as problematic. The internet absolutely roasted them for this. Ex-user Geralt of Gunia posted a viral thread saying Capcom designs attractive females, but they have been erasing fan service more and more. Stop excusing their censorship. Make Resident Evil sexy again. And a user on Reddit summed it up perfectly, writing, Resident Evil 9, the Leon and Grace double standards, is the green light for developers to go wild with male fan service and to eradicate female fan service. This is the end for the straight male gaze. So why is this happening? Well, you just gotta think, what's the incentive here? Well, to understand the reality, you just have to follow the money, like with most things. This is completely driven by the mechanics of modern institutional investment. Publicly traded companies need to get the approval of these massive institutional investors like BlackRock and Vanguard to secure capital for games with budgets exceeding $100 million. Don't even get me started on GTA. These investors rely heavily on environmental, social, and governance metrics. The thing we all know as ESG. Capcom explicitly noted in their 2024 and 2025 integrated reports that they want to achieve a 100 million units annual software sales metric. And since the overseas markets account for 83.8% of their total sales volumes, they restructure their entire development to preemptively sanitize content. They are paying consultants and ethics departments to ruin the authenticity of their games just to keep the line going up for their Tuesday morning conference call. But here's the irony. Square Enix is in a state of severe financial contraction. Their market capitalization has plummeted to approximately 902 billion yen. In 2023 alone, they lost nearly $2 billion in stock value following the failure of Western-facing titles like Forspoken. We know how bad Forspoken was. The community heavily attributes this financial peril directly to their ethics department. Meanwhile, Capcom gets away with it because Resident Evil Requiem achieved massive commercial success, hitting 344,000 concurrent players on Steam. It became the best-selling game so far of 2026 in the United States within just 24 hours. People buy it because the gameplay is good, but that doesn't excuse the absolute betrayal of their core demographic. It's gotten so bad that the actual Japanese government is stepping in to stop the corporations from throwing away their culture. The Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, known as METI, or METI, realized that anime and video games are a vital export. So in October of 2025, METI announced a new policy with a massive rule. They explicitly guaranteed no interference in the content of creative works. They're doing this to protect Japanese creators from aggressive global content restrictions and payment processor censorship. METI literally surveyed the market and found that damages from online piracy of Japanese content skyrocketed to 10.4 trillion yen in 2025. The government knows that to drive consumers to legitimate channels, the content has to remain authentic. Authentic in Japanese, you know? It's wild. So the government is essentially telling Sony and Square Enix to stop being cowards, treating your legendary gaming franchises the way Disney treats modern Star Wars. It's a guaranteed ticket to irrelevancy. So here's the verdict. Japanese publishers achieved global dominance decades ago because they offered unapologetic, entertainment-first escapism. Now they're completely obsessed with chasing the approval of Western ESG departments and progressive media outlets. It's corporate greed mixed with complete brain-dead mismanagement. The core gaming community views Japanese media as one of the final bastions of unfiltered art. I mean, if these companies keep bending the knee to Californian rating boards, they're gonna be permanently screwed. They're gonna permanently lose the very audience that built their empires. I don't know. So what do you think? Japanese games, are they doomed to become just another sanitized product on the global assembly line? Or is the new Japanese government actually going to push back and maybe save a portion of that industry? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Either way, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content. I'll be putting out more similar things in the future. Hopefully decent cadence. Anyway, thanks again for watching. You guys, I'll see you in the next one.